Very good evening to all our viewers. I'm Chaiti Narula. Welcome to Wion Wallet, and let's take a look at the top stories from the business world that we're tracking at this hour. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley introduces the bill to amend the income tax rules. Government set to levy a tax of 60% on undisclosed income. The leftist parties call for Bharat Bandh against demonetisation move. Congress and Trinamool decide to not join the Bandh. And the equity benchmarks end flat in trade today. Indian market experiencing choppy waters. RHC Holdings in talks to refinance $300 million of debt. The holding company for the Religare and Fortis brands currently is in talks with Nomura Capital and Edelweiss Financial Services to run the loan syndication process. And on to the top story that we're tracking at this hour from the business world. Now, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley today has introduced a bill in the Lok Sabha to amend the income tax rules, levying a tax of 60% on undisclosed income or investment or cash credit deposited in the banks. According to the Taxation Law's Second Amendment Bill 2016, the declaree will additionally have to pay regular tax on the amount left after deducting the 60% levy. The government has also come up with an income tax disclosure scheme called the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana 2016, which allows people to deposit money in their accounts till April 1, 2017, by paying 50% of the total amount. Additionally, under this scheme, 25% of the amount has to be locked up for 4 years in interest-free Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan deposit scheme. Let's now go over to Kartikeya Sharma, who's standing by at Vijay Chowk to get a lowdown on the latest on this protest. Kartikeya, tell us about the penalty, the new scheme that has been introduced over the last few days. We heard about many penalty schemes. Now, what are the expected differences in these schemes? Give us a lowdown that you're gathering at this point of time from your sources as well at Vijay's Talk as you stand by live.
You see, the penalties range from 40% to 65%. And this is for those, the lower end is for those who declare their unaccounted income, and the higher end is for those who don't do it. Then on top of it, those who just don't do it and go beyond the period of the capping, which the government has announced previously, then it goes up to 75%. But I think the most important aspect of it is the object and reason which we were able to access. Arun Jaitley in that object and reason says, Chaiti, that Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Yojana, which can basically be translated Prime Minister's support system for poorer segments. If I translate that in English, the funds collected through black money would be transferred to this scheme, which means it would be in millions, lakhs of crores, and it would not go to any other sector but only to the social sector, and that to define in that purpose, which is sanitation, toilets, education and rural social infrastructure. So I think that's a very big announcement on part of the government to funnel that money which has come by through the penalties and by the payment which people have done or by unearthing of black money.
Karthik, we spoke a little while ago and you did mention that you have some exclusive report from top sources in the Finance Ministry as to some new council which has been formed to address the impediments that people are facing on the back of this demonetization drive. Tell us about what you're picking up on that front as well.
Absolutely, it is going to be announced. It will be a subcommittee. This idea was mooted by Amit Shah and Arun Jaitley. There will be a committee of 5 chief ministers. This committee will be headed by Chandrababu Naidu. But I think a coup is in waiting. NDA, the BJP government, has touched base with Nitish Kumar, and they want Nitish Kumar to be part of the demonetization. So imagine the political consequence of an economic decision. If Nitish Kumar becomes the member of the demonetization committee, it will completely wreck the opposition unity, break the opposition's paraphernalia. So one has to wait and see whether Nitish says it or not, but the proposal to Nitish Kumar has gone. And if it is, it will be creating tectonic movement in Delhi, in the Lutyens' Delhi. It will be a tectonic shift, Chaiti.
All right, Karthik, as usual, thank you so much for those live updates from Vijay Chowk, where you are at the winter session of the Parliament. And there you go, Karthikesh Sharma, our chief political correspondent, as always, giving us live updates from the winter session of the Parliament. Now to the latest on the Bharat Bandh in protest against the implementation of demonetisation move by the government. Now, the call for the Bandh was called by the leftist parties, but the Congress and the Trinamool have decided to not join the Bandh. The Bandh was in protest to the demonetisation move by the Government of India. Ever since the winter session of the Parliament commenced, several opposition parties have questioned the implementation of this move. The Congress has decided to protest across the country against the government's move. On to the other big story that we're tracking from India Incorporated. Now, the holding company for the Religare and Fortis brands, RHC Holding, is in talks to refinance $300 million debt. RHC Holdings is a closely held investment company owned by former Ranbaxy Laboratories promoters Malvinder Singh and Shivinder Singh. The company is currently in talks with Nomura Capital and Edelweiss Financial Services to run the loan syndication process, but sources say no final decision has been taken yet. RHC has invested in both debt and in equity in group firms including Fortis Healthcare, Religare Enterprises Limited, Religare Aviation Limited, Religare Wellness Limited, Dion Global Solutions Limited, SRL Limited and Health4 Technologies Limited as well. It has also invested in real estate and has extended loans to non-group firms. A large portion of the RHPL debt is short-term in nature, and the company's finance costs have risen by close to $0.15 million in the past 1 year. Good time now for us to take a short break right here on Wion Wallet. On the other side, we've got a global markets wrap, and we discuss the business of horse racing in India with the chairman of the RWIDC, Vivek Jain.